Hey everyone, Genome here. Come at you after a long hiatus. I've been busy refurbing our house. We're getting ready to sell it, so I didn't have much time for any video making, but I really wanted to make a video on my latest Hearthstone deck, and I'm kind of bringing back a blast of the past that never really worked that well before, but there's a couple newer tools that are helping it, but mostly it's old school. I'm talking about none other than Silence Priest, the one that stands before you. Yes, it is an interesting, sorry, I gotta fix my camera there a little bit, setup, and it's, no one's expecting this right now, and I have been doing pretty incredible with it, actually. Definitely my best deck of recent memory. So there's several decks this thing just beats up on, but most of the time, like some of the burn decks can give you a rough time. Stuff like your Quest Hunters and things like that. And sometimes Pirate Hunter can just get such a fast start that they can just overwhelm you. Even though you'll kill them on board for the most part, once you get rolling, sometimes you're stuck without a silence or whatever, or a duplicate effect. Yeah, and then you're in a little bit of trouble. But, I mean, the win rate speaks for itself, 63%. I've played a lot of games with this now, and let me tell you something, it works. People don't know how to play around it. I think a lot of times they think, because you're playing all these useless minions, they think you're trying to finish a quest or something, and really you're setting them up. Now, I just saw a video where Hermit was basically the worst card of the expansion. Hard to argue with that, but I mean, it has a home here somewhat. It is a 4/3 for one, and it actually does transition very well into a turn 2 if you're sitting there holding on to a Purify and don't have, say, an Ancient Watcher to play, or you're not on the coin, whatever. It's not a bad turn 1 play, but it's definitely one of the weaker cards in the deck, to be sure. Actually, Symphony is not an awful choice, because what you're going to be doing, one of the all-stars of this deck is actually Azsharan Ritual. And it takes everything... Sorry, let me go back here. It takes everything, then... Where was that? I can't remember the name of it. Oops. Must be on Priest. Sorry about that. I can never remember the name of it, because I've never really used it before. I don't think I've used it in the previous iteration of Silence Priest. It does everything that Sleeping Soul does, but twice as good. And by that, I mean you can silence any minion. So this works on the opposing side. A lot of this deck relies on, well, basically all this deck relies on board-based aggression. And sometimes you gotta get through a taunt. And guess what? This works. There's a lot of silence, and you'll see how this deck is played. I'm not gonna completely sit there and go over every card. It's obvious, but it's just so much better, because once you're able to dredge a little bit, which are what the Illuminates are for, you can start making massive amounts of copies of what hopefully is going to be Humongous Razorleaf. Really, has been the all-star for sure, and followed closely by Arcane Watcher. I do have a couple of questionable additions in here. Fel Orc Soulfiend, really not a good minion without a silence on it on the turn it's played. Ogre Brute, it's just Ogre Brute. Looking for some stats to put down, and it can do something at least without the silence, but it's not that strong. Conjured Mirage is definitely underperforming a bit. I do like Eerie Statue. I may even replace this. In fact, I'll do it right now with a new card here. The Clam should work pretty well. I've used it in other decks, but sometimes I don't like giving other decks that kind of draw, and sometimes Statue is better, but you don't have to have a silence for the Shellfish, so we'll take it. My vanity inclusion here for tech is Najak Hexxen, and the fact that you have so many silences in the deck, a lot of times you can just do this as a 4 mana, sometimes 6 mana, 7 mana, whatever, mind control on usually an annoying taunt minion or death rattle minion. So anyway, it's enough rambling on. Let's get in there and see how this deck performs. Okay, Rogue. I haven't faced too many rogues, actually, this expansion, so they can really wreck your day with vanishes, but... Okay, 4s are little ambitions. We'll save that for a little bit later. But Dalaran Librarian is definitely good, especially with this hand. So it's going to look like a coin on 2 turn for Arcane Watcher. And then into Dalaran Librarian, and maybe even... Nope, not going to be Dressed. I was going to see. Maybe we'll draw the other Hermit and then I'll just coin it out. But I've done that before. If you get double of these Hermits out on turn 1 and then Dalaran Librarian, that's a lot of pressure. So unless I draw a Watcher, yeah, I'm not going to worry about the Shellfish. We'll do that. And then we're going to start nailing face here in a second. See, the good thing, too, about this deck is a lot of times I think they have time. Because I think most people forget Dalaran Librarian exists, so you can really start doing some big damage, especially with surprise Wailing Souls. I've lined up the whole board with like 4 of the minions, big attack minions, and then, yeah, bam, surprise, surprise. Okay, so let's go. I stuck an extra silence in the deck. Focus Will is a much better card, but you just need more silences in this deck. I think I'm going to throw a Shellfish down and go ham. So we can't just worry. Okay, so that could be... So you definitely want to start with a Shellfish on this. Well, not necessarily, because I don't want attacking a friendly neighbor. I guess the question is, do I silence that? I think that I do. Let's test some of these secrets here. That's the one I want. So I'm actually going to attack here first. I know it looks bad. Okay, so it was evasion. We can deal with that, though, if that's all he does. But hopefully he doesn't have a vanish here. But I can replay a lot of stuff even on a vanish, so... Oh, he just top-decked it, too.
You don't need to applaud that.
Of course. That's okay. It allows me to do a Azsharan later. So let's go ahead and get everything back down again. 1, 2... We'll put this on the outside because I can activate it with Velen's Chosen. The question is, do I want to silence one of these ahead of time? No, let's not, in case he has another vanish. And I can do some surprise burst. I know that Shellfish play looked like a misplay, but I don't want to take a chance of him destroying another one of my characters. So, all right, there's a quick win. I did lose to the mage previously, but sometimes they just draw perfect and they lock your board down. There's nothing you can do. So you're not going to do too well against a kind of deck like that. But I have whipped up on Control Warrior, whipped up on Druid. They just can't handle that early aggression, and even if they throw out taunts, you have so many silences in this deck that you just keep going face, man. I hate playing like an aggro deck, but this one's a little more of a thinking person's aggro deck, I guess. Much better than like Pirate Warrior or something. All right, now, Paladin's one of the few classes that can actually deal with your big board sometimes, but I just go in and pretend they don't have the stuff. This is a really good curve here. Just got to decide if I want to silence my Helmet Hermit. Probably wind up saving it. Yeah, but try this deck out if you want to try something different, fun, fast. These are really fast games for the most part. So if we get a Dalaran Librarian, I got a turn 3 that's going to be pretty good. So, yep, next turn, Ancient Watcher. A lot of this deck kind of plays itself. The only thing it's really lacking is maybe a little more card draw, but it's kind of hard to find it. Things that'll fit in this deck. I've had to cut way back on this deck. I used to have a Battlegrounds Battlemaster in it. Just too clunky. I drew it too often. I did try a tricky... I can't remember the card, but something Professor or whatever that switches your attack and health for some more surprise burst, but I was too often just stuck with it in my hand, and you gotta be a little bit sneaky with this deck. Okay, I don't know what this guy's playing. Was that in his... Yeah. Alright, so this is another all-star card, Smothering Starfish, so let's keep going. This does double duty, So I'd like to have another one, but I might not feel like crafting another epic. See, he's already starting to get worried about that card. Oh. Now, I could do quite a bit here if I want to part with most of my hand. Which I think I will, because you just got to go for it, you know? One, and I just misplayed that somewhat, so I got to do it like this. Not the most obvious things in the world. Let's go ahead and hit on there. Alright, now it's going to be basically all out aggression. I'm a little bit low on cards, as you can see, so Humongous Razorleaf would be nice. But yeah, Paladin can deal with a lot of this stuff, just with their equality effects. That's not what I wanted to draw. But I can obviously just start pushing more damage here. I don't think I'm going to bother. Let's get a heal back on this. I need my cards right now, and that might be a much more high-value taunt coming up. I'm still going to be able to push 8. Getting these later turns, they'll play their, not Tyrians, but Talons and all that, so. And if he's Libram by chance, they have the taunt there too, so. What's he going to do here? At 2 mana. I think that was a desperation move. I mean, he'll remove one of these minions at least, but I don't. Oh, okay. Well, didn't go so well for him, and I'm probably gonna have to kill that off. Think about your placement here. Right now, it doesn't matter much. And keep pushing damage, and we have a little bit more surprise burst with Starfish. Unfortunately, I am 1 off. Okay, so now he's really hurting. That wasn't what I wanted to see. I'm going to go ahead and dredge here. I probably should have done that last turn. And just keep going face. So we do have some lethal shot here with Arcane Watcher. Even through a taunt. He does have Reno though, so yep, he's dead. So yeah, it's fun stuff, right? That should revert him. And we'll do that. And we'll say goodnight, Irene. Sometimes you bully decks. So good thing, one of the good things about this deck is games are over fast. You know when you're going to lose, so you just quit out. Another Warlock. This is probably not good. Warlock's probably your worst matchup, just because of how much removal they have. And cheap, easy removal. Oh, that's a curve. Just need a silence effect. I'm going to set some stats on the board, let me tell you that. So as long as he doesn't Plague of Flames me. So we got ourselves a slower Warlock. Yep, he's taking his sweet time on turn 1. It's complicated, I know. One silence effect, but I think I'm going to spend the next couple of turns just laying down the smack and then hope for Wailing Soul. And or Smothering. Okay, he's got to hope he doesn't have any imps with which to propagate. and wipe all my hard work out. I think it's time I started going face a little bit, right? I will kill that off probably. I want a double silence effect. Okay. There we go. Because I do want to kill that off and always be cognizant of defiles. I have another silence in hand for any taunts he might have. That's shocking. Okay. Wasn't expecting to see that. Alright, so what do we got here? We have to go all in. We cannot take time. Oh yeah, I gotta make sure to line this up for Dalaran. I still have a silence for his taunt. I was pretty lucky on him. We sure wasn't playing around that card. Too early for Twisting Nether, and that's game is over. So, I mean, his deck obviously wasn't the most optimized, but here's the money shot right there. And give him a nice honorable kill, right? Look at that. And I think I just hit 500 wins with this deck. Or not with this deck, but with Priest. So you hear for this auspicious occasion, if it will ever load. Looks like it broke the game. Well, yeah, I think I just hit 500 wins with Priest, so it's been a long time coming. Let's get this refreshed. So yeah, right now I am 41-25 with this, 62% win rate. It's been wrecking Hearthstone with this deck. So yeah, I encourage you to give it a try. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried it, what you think about this deck, and if you have any improvement ideas for it, let me know. And until next time, this is Gino,